I'm starting it off with a bunch of streamer drama again. I enjoy this stuff. This is my form of trash. This is my form of trash. I know this stuff is ridiculous nonsense, but I do enjoy watching it. I think it's enjoyable. This is just the WestJet once again. Asmongold's band situation just got worse. Not entirely sure what that means. Maybe he's prolonging his. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's fascinating. I think it's really fascinating to watch this kind of stuff. I'm just gonna get on into it.
Massive day for the unemployed, that's me.
Asmongold's bad situation is getting crazier, and he made a whole ass response, doubling down. Asmongold stands by border force comments amidst Twitch ban. Twitch hit his Zakrar channel with a 2-week ban, prompting backlash from Destiny and calls for permanence, while Asmongold accuses the platform of a left-wing bias and double standards.
Hey guys, it's me again.
Hi sisters!
Apparently he also had a cancer scare, which is not shocking. He is 57.
I'm 36 years old. I have had really no health problems ever in my entire life other than my teeth.
The fact that he's 36 and they put 57 at the bottom. Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The health scare thing. I mean, I can understand that, because as you get older in life, your body doesn't react the way it used to, and then you just get more and more afraid. Luckily, I don't really have much of a cancer scare in my family, because I think it's luckily I have good genetics to where that's not as big of an issue. But then again, it's cancer. It always is. I mean, I could just lay out in the sun for like an entire year and I would definitely have cancer. I would definitely get cancer. But yeah, it's not as big of an issue in my family as it is more for other people. Like some people, it's a massive scare, But for me, luckily it's well, it's still an issue. But I think both of his parents died of cancer or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I could get it. Like, you have symptoms which are similar, and then you start just overthinking.
Asmongold's response to being banned for advocating to murder migrant children was to double down and then talk about other kinds of kids that should also be murdered. I'm not even joking. Are you confused because you missed my last video where, God forbid, you have a job? Basically, again, 60,000 Sneegos ran into Spain from Morocco, and Asmongold was not having any of it.
And I think they should use guns to stop it. And I'm not sorry for saying that. And it doesn't matter what you try to use as...
I mean, yeah, the funny thing is like, it makes sense as to why you have to say that you need guns to stop it. Why? Because it's gotten so far that there's no way of punishing and course correcting at this point. It used to be where you would just allow them in, you would catch them and release them back into their own nation, you know, like fishing. It's like a catch and release type of thing. You catch them and release them back. But it just got so overcorrected where it was just like, let's just let everyone in, that now people are storming in and there's no closing the floodgates, and you just have to shut the gates entirely. You can't be like, you know what, let's just start piecemeal. No, after Pandora's box been open, it takes a lot to close it.
You know, emotional blackmail or something like that. Fundamentally, all of these different tools that these people use will never actually be applied in a universal way. These are the same people whose ideology leads them to thinking that 6-year-olds can transition to another gender.
Trans people just caught a stray.
Some of my best friends are trans.
In order for you to invade a country or in order for you to do terrorist attacks, I think that you're a f***ing animal, and I'm not sorry for it, and I honestly think that most people agree with me. I think that almost everybody does. But unfortunately, we've had this inversion of morality where these truly evil, malignant, pernicious people have been allowed...
Yeah, most people, again, you can't talk to people in the landscape of a nation, because most people can't extrapolate that. They can't. They think nation, they think a place for a ton of people. You have to bring it down to their own personal well-being, because a nation is nothing but a home. How would people feel if some random people if their neighbors barged into their house unannounced? That's how you have to really correlate it with people, because most people can't extrapolate their thoughts to actually get to the actual core of the matter. They're just like, oh, these people need aid because, well, they're worse than me, so of course they want to come into my nation. When it's like, no, just like if I was lucky enough to have $1 million home, like some people, I still wouldn't want random strangers in there because it's my $1 million home. That's the way people need to think about it. It's like, if your nation's sadly a little better than another nation's home, it doesn't mean you should allow them to barge in. But the thing is, a lot of people can't think abstractly about it. They just look at a nation and they think a border. They don't think about the fact that even the land they live on, even their apartment, even wherever it is they reside, is nothing but a border. But they can't do a correlation in that thinking, which is honestly the biggest problem. We need people to actually start critically thinking and critically discussing, because when you just do the blanket statement of mowing them all down, which honestly I've made that a statement as well, it doesn't get well received.
To use this fake moral authority that they have to dictate that we have to allow terrorism, violence, and complete societal collapse, and if we don't allow this, somehow we're the ones that are evil.
Asmongold already got a girlfriend, so why is he the one cooking? Which is ideologically captured by left-wing terrorism supporters. Whether it's Islamic terrorism, BLM, or Tesla bombings, these leftists will always enable and promote it. They do this because it works, and also because the government refuses to hold them accountable.
Never once have I ever heard about the human rights or the privileges or, what's the right thing to do for all the people in the city who are now having to be terrified in their homes, boarding their houses up. You have these migrants banging on their doors, smashing their windows, destroying their businesses.
Most of these sneakos can't even afford a shirt, and these people are landlords, as something Hassan would probably say. I don't know.
We're gonna keep bringing in immigrants in this country on purpose, just so they can f your sister, and then maybe even your daughter. We're gonna destroy the white race. That's what we're here to do.
Is this like two truths and a lie? I know a leftist cuck will probably say he's joking, but like, what's the punchline? Asmongold is saving the white race by having a coalition with the Asian Empire. Hassan Piker says he wants to destroy the white race. Then Hassan says, I'm white, LMAO. Yeah, and I'm John Cena! A white guy named Hassan, sure, buddy. It reminds me of that Superbad movie when he tried to make his name Muhammad.
I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the f would it be between that and Muhammad? Why don't you pick a common name of a normal person?
Anyway, Asmongold replied to Hassan. Hassan has said that Israeli settlers were valid military targets, and then explicitly said that there are baby settlers. Anyone can look for this clip and find it. You're not mad I said to kids. You're just mad that kids I said to aren't Jews. Mad. What even is Twitch in 2026? And this is all just the aftermath of Tyler White and Greek stopping Variety.
Civilian casualties and anybody who's not a combatant is a tragedy. It's a horrible thing to have happen. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have borders. And it doesn't mean you can't make decisions to protect your own people, even if it comes at the expense of other people that are trying to do this in bad faith and use this. And by the way, the usage of people like this as human shields is a war crime in itself.
And that's the problem with leftists. They never take human nature into account. Some people are genuinely horrible and will use a child as a human shield.
I don't think that they really care about these kids. They don't give a shit about them. Like, these are the people they'll bring kids.
Is it just me, or is there a filter on his face? Because as he's moving, it looks like the background is moving with him. Like when people put those filters on and they're walking around and you see the background warp? It looks like around his face, it's warping. Is it just the camera's bad, which it is? Or is there really I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the original Asmongold has been removed and someone else has been put in his place with a facial filter on top of him. Because that distortion around, especially right here with the poster in the background, is a little off.
To an ICE protest. Why would you bring a kid to a protest where there's rioting and there's flashbang grenades and tear gas being set off?
Am I the only one seeing it?
There is a reason for it. The reason why they do that is because they want to use these kids and the harm that these kids will inevitably go through because of collateral damage, and they want to use this as a political tool so they can advance their agenda.
Am I like schizophrenic, or is everything he said there just straight up facts? Like, full stop. If you bring your child to a protest, you are a piece of shit.
But when you're advocating for people, the dialogue has broken down. It's gone. Like, there is no dialogue. That's where even though I think...
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, still, if someone was off the street, brought their kids into my house, I mean, I'm still gonna pull, I'm still gonna threaten the adults to try and get them out of my house because they don't belong. That's just how I am. I'm protective of me and my family. But the problem is again, so many people can't do the correlation between their own home and the nation they live in. That they just can't. And I understand, like, there are different rules for property, there are different rules between the states, there are different rules between the counties, there are different rules for nations, there are different rules, but most of us have agreed upon certain kind of civilities. Like, there is a civil understanding at the core of, well, civilization. The problem is people keep wanting to destroy what makes the core of civilization. So they're trying to destroy the civil sense people have. That's primarily what the issue is.
Like him, that's when people like Charlie Kirk start getting shot. All right? Because the dialogue has broken down.
And I don't want to use a bunch of euphemisms and other types of vague and pacified language to discuss this in a way that is not authentic to its true harm and its true existence.
YouTube compression, baby.
That's what it is. And I think that there are definitely criticisms people have of me that are valid, where like I probably do dial it up a little bit too much, and maybe I could use different rhetoric, etc. But I want to let you know that I apologize for nothing. I meant exactly what I said, and I think that these borders should be defended with lethal force whenever it's being invaded by 40 to 60,000 people at the same time.
I refuse to believe this isn't a bipartisan issue, though, because I think everyone can agree the borders are real, and, you know, excessive immigration would be bad. What? Even in The Walking Dead, bad things happen when you let an unvetted chud through your border. Anyway, this is Twitch we're talking about, that Asmongold got a 2-week ban, which, you know, nobody is shocked at it entire.
That many people want to simply appear smart. And one of the easiest way to try and appear smart when you're a stupid person
Is to put on a suit and start LARPing?
is to say horseshoe theory, two sides of the same coin. I'm actually a moderate. I'm actually right at the center of these two different dangerous forms of commentary.
Brilliant. If you're not a radical, you're stupid. You heard it here first. And then, what the? Even Elon Musk got involved with the Twitch drama. Why does Twitch have this double standard? He means what he says. Even replied to Asmongold's Frogan, one of the known richest people on the planet, and he's unemployed. How?
And I like how people are trying to say that, no, what he said is that enforcing border control is actually what he was going for, and that children should be used as human shields. If that happens, they should get so we can prove to them that that shouldn't happen. I don't even know what to say. Like, this dude has had such insane takes over the past year, and it all comes down to one thing. Asmongold has genuinely just lost his mind. Like, he is actually a fucking maniac.
This dude is so zogged. His first thought on decentivizing child trafficking is the kids being trafficked. He didn't even consider the traffickers. Yeah, dude, I'm sure likening border control to child murder is really gonna get the moderates back to your politics.
And in my opinion, if you don't capitulate to this emotional blackmail, you also don't allow these people to target and victimize these children by using them as baggage and effectively shock troopers.
Yeah, because as soon as something works, it'll continue to be used. As soon as something works, it'll continue to be used. That's the problem. That's like scammers or people who are like bad actors. They will always utilize something that, guess what, works in order to gain sympathy. That's why you have so much fraud. That's why you have so many scammers. You have people playing on, guess what, the sympathy of others. Because again, like if you study like anything when it comes to like technical field or things like that, the only thing that no matter what, no matter how sophisticated we get in like even like online in our protections and everything, it'll be the humans which will be the failure in any kind of protective structure. The humans will always be the failure point. No matter how protected we become, it'll always be the humans that are the problem. Which is kind of sad, but also because again, we want to have the ability to care. But the problem is there will always be those bad actors that take advantage of your sympathies. What is it? Social engineering. It's what it's considered in like the cyber security, the social engineering, where you can literally manipulate someone into giving you information. It's just, that's always gonna be there. As long as humans are on Earth, you will never get rid of that. Not that I'm for eradicating all humans. I'm just saying that in the end, as soon as people find out something works, like what is it, the love letter that happened, or virus that went around. You have all this malware. You have all these scammers. You have all this fraud in California and Minnesota, everywhere in America. Why? Because people feel sympathy towards the elderly, towards the ones that need help, towards children, childcare. They feel like they need to support those, so they give money towards those, only to find out that that money has been going in the pockets of other people. Why? Because they don't want to look at these good things as bad. Nobody wants to be a skeptic towards all of that. I mean, I always am. I've worked in a church and I've seen how bad charity can be. Even though it still does good things, it still is can be used for people just, you know, to not have to pay as much in taxes, a way to get away with things. That's just how it's always been, and people will always utilize that. Always. And that's the thing, if they're going to find out that they can strap babies on their chests and walk into a nation, guess what? They will do that. They will do that.
In order to accomplish a goal.
Yeah,
so, for example,
American.
if these kids are being charged as adults, the entire tool that these people were using, you know, these gangs were using of having children commit crimes on their behalf, this tool would effectively be rendered ineffective.
I mean, yeah, that's obvious. Cartels and gangs do use children. That's not a mystery.
But we don't want to do that because it makes people sad to put kids in jail. But from my perspective, the way that I see it is that it makes me sad to see kids that were abused, that are trafficked, and that are put into these situations, because the people that are truly and profoundly evil, the people that know this, know that they can use these children because they can co-opt and use your morality morality against you so they can push their own evil designs.
Like, am I cooked? He's basically saying desperate times call for desperate measures.
The moment you illegally trespass and cross someone's border illegally, you are a criminal. There's not a chance they are criminals. They are criminals immediately by nature.
I, however,
Yep, true. I mean, that's true. I mean, it also depends on the nation and its how it enforces those laws.
am not a criminal. Paimon may be 11, but she's fiction. Not even the state of Texas can prevent me from loving my anime girls.
While this might be a bit of an extreme execution, literally, I do see where Asmongold's coming from. At least his logic seems sound. Subscribe if you're dumb and you still think the horseshoe theory is true. And also subscribe if America deserved more.
Oh, this was WestJet. He does a concise commentary on the sphere that I enjoy watching all the fallout of. Again, it's just like you have to talk. I don't want to say down. I don't want to say down to people, but you have to have them see it from like a simplistic perspective, because when people go into like the talking about immigration, they come at it from an emotional place. Then what do you have to do? Because you can't argue with someone who's completely emotional. What you have to do is you have to talk to them about like the reality of what about strangers walking into your home? How safe would you feel with random people you know nothing about, no history about, no credentials, no nothing, because you can't even ask for their information while entering your house? That would you feel comfortable? Would you feel comfortable? Your door is completely unlocked. They just barge in. They're allowed to do whatever they want. They can eat all your food. Would you feel comfortable with your kids around? The problem is you have to talk to people like that, because they will always go to an emotional place about like some grandmother or some child. And the thing is, like, I've been in this situation. I've seen what my my family had to go through in order to get citizenship. I've had to go through the visa process for my wife. So I am not going to have any sympathy towards those people who have been here for 20 years illegally and refused to get a visa. My uncle, my tío, had to get a visa. When my tía found out, she immediately did all the paperwork, like 2 years of filing paperwork, doing everything to make sure her husband stayed with her. I have no sympathy towards those people who have been here for years, and then, well, I guess grandma got deported. Well, it's their own fault. It's their own fault. They knew this was coming.
You guys got a video? It's so bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait like that.